Talk to you a little bit about the drill press. Been working on getting it cleaned up. The gear rack that is on the side was actually broke down at the bottom, and it had been taped on with some duct tape, which was not working, and actually had to use some acetone to get it all off. But I got the shaft all cleaned up, and then what I did to keep it in place is I went out and got some stainless steel rat clamps. Put two on the bottom piece because it's broke right here in the middle, and then one here, and then one up at the top. Now that limits my height adjustment by about 7 inches here and about ½ inch on the top, but I'm not too worried about that right now. I did look around, see if I could find another rack for this. This is very similar to an existing Jet model. I'll get that model number and post it in the underneath the video so you can see what it is. It seems to have a lot of the same parts. Again, this table is the circular type. Unlooses here and you can spin it. Make sure I'm getting that on the video. And so there's a clamp here to undo the table and lock it. There's a bolt underneath here so that the table can pivot. The other thing is there's a clamp mechanism in the back then that I can use then to raise and lower the table. Now, the way this is supposed to work is you have an upper ring and a lower ring, and the gear rack sits inside this assembly so that you're supposed to be able to pivot the whole assembly also. Since I've got this locked in place, it's basically going to stay stationary up and down in one position, for now at least, which is fine, because I'll probably use it mostly just to drill straight holes and not compound angles. So then that just tightens that up. And then we're going to get ready to put the top back on. Got it just cleaned up and ready to go on. So we'll reposition here. And there's basically just an assembly in the back of the head right here. And there's two surfaces that slide down. This is recessed slightly so that it acts as a stop. So let's see if this old guy can get this picked up and put back on there properly. It's really not that heavy. It is casting. Just have to get it in the right position. And see if we can get this to slide in there. That's how it goes on. There's two set screws here to tighten it with. And I think what I'm going to do, just to give myself a position, so I'm going to bring this up pretty far. So you can see I still got plenty of height in there. I'll never be using it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use kind of the chuck to locate its center position, which will change slightly when I move this table, but it'll be pretty close to center. And then I'll tighten it up here. Get these set screws in here. So basically at that point, recenter with the hole. Like I said, it'll wobble back and forth a little bit, but it'll be close enough that I'll drill holes through. It won't be a problem. So let's get the head mounted back on. and lined up. And the next step will be to put the motor back on. So it just basically hangs onto the side. These two screws. There's a tensioning adjustment over here. I just disassembled the wire from the motor, left the bracket assembly all on it. I want to finish cleaning it up, put it on, and we'll get that mounted and go from there. Be right back. Okay, we're going to put the belts on. Now the way this is you've got a step pulley here. This is the idle pulley that moves back and forth and spins. And of course your motor pulley set, and the motor pivots back and forth. You pull it all the way to this side over here, or to this side where the adjustment mechanism's at, to give it the least amount of tension. Now there's two belts, and of course up here is a setting to show what pulley orientations you need to have for what speeds. This originally was set on like the maximum speed, which at 60 Hertz is 3,800 RPMs, which I don't want to run it that fast right now. If I get into some real small drills, I probably will. So I'm going to set it at about this speed right here, which is 1440 RPMs at 60 Hertz. So I need this top set of pulleys here, and then the second set on here. So since I have that second set there, I'm going to go ahead and just lay this pulley down in, because this is going to get pulled that way. So I want to go to the top set here. So I'm going to pull it over here, rotate this around, and this allows you to slide that back in. And then I'm going to pull it up here, and I'm working on getting it onto this second set. Looks like it's pretty tight. Let me move it down and then move it back up. It's not exactly easy. It should be fairly straightforward, but we're going to force that in there. Okay, so that should give me, doesn't look like I need a lot of tension on it, so we'll just put some tension here to make it tight. That's pretty good. So let's turn it on and see what we got for speed. Switch is on the other side. That's pretty good. I think that's good right there. Tension's still good. So, and there you have the belt set up. Turn it around, and on this side, wire the motor back in. The key chuck for the key. This switch is for the number 2, or I guess it's an M, an L. M for motor, and L for light. Nope, I don't have a bulb in there just yet, but this actually has a bulb assembly. It goes in, so let's put a light in there and see if it works. And even the same thing, a newer jet power has this, jet manufacturer one still has that. Let's see. Yep, got a light. So, a little light on the subject. One last thing on the drill is you got this key thing here that allows you to turn to set this kind of a depth gauge type thing, and I think I'm just going to put a socketed cap screw or something in there, because this thing flops around. It's got the side all scored up, and I don't know if I really use it too much. The newer models have a depth gauge, or a depth ram mounted on this side. Sleeve bracket bolts down here. The bolt goes up through, and then there's another aluminum block that's bolted on there that allows for an adjustment up and down with lock screws. So I might actually, when we get the CRP48 router up and running, get some aluminum and actually make myself a clamp assembly here that I can put a bolt on and do the same basic thing with. So I have an step adjustment for it, a depth adjustment for it. Now you can buy those components. I'm assuming that they're probably going to be pretty close, but they're not cheap. I think just this bracket down here with the bolts like $30. So I think we'll rig something else up. But other than that, about the only thing that's not nice is, of course, the newer jet model has the on-off switch on the front. So every time I go to use this, I've got to reach around here and turn this switch on. To turn it off and on. So that's one thing that ain't the greatest, but I think I can live with that for now. But other than that, we're pretty much set, at least up and down, and everything's fairly lined up to center, and I can use it to start drilling with. So, that all being said, appreciate everybody watching, and next on the agenda, I'm pretty certain I've got what I need running to start working on building the base for the CRP48 router. So I think the next video that I'm going to do is maybe a video of the CAD layout to give you an idea of what it's going to look like, and then we'll get some materials in here and show you a way I'm going to make adjustable feet for it. And then start building it. And then when that's done, then we'll be able to disassemble the router, bring it up here and mount it on the base, get things back up and running. And then I'll show you how I'm converting it into what I call an open base machine for doing quick fixture changes, and allowing also for doing horizontal work or vertical work off the one intersection, to do things like box joints, dovetails, things like that. So if you want to stay tuned, please subscribe. That's going to be all coming up pretty soon. Getting really anxious to get that going. Just wanted to get this stuff in proper working order and condition so that I can utilize it to start working on that base. Then after that, we'll probably use the router to make improvements to the other pieces of equipment that we just did. So that all is falling into place. So again, appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up if you like anything you see, anything that you'd like me to go over or discuss. If you have any questions, anything I've done so far, please ask. And of course, I'm really hoping that once we get the router going, you'll also be giving me some suggestions and comments of what you'd like to see project wise. And then we'll go from there. Again, if you want to stay tuned, please subscribe. Till next time, thank you.